posting. Join in. All right. Posting around, inviting some people to join us. And I'm going to share some links with you. So you will want to, here we are, join the newsletter and check out the shop. So the links are in the comments to go to the shop right now. And and to join the newsletter. Okay, so if you are here today, thank you for coming. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I've been kind of diddling around, trying to figure out this Facebook Live new interface thing. And let me get the images. Let me get the image of the items. So I'm Julia with the Flying Cat. I own the Flying Cat. I am a creative entrepreneur, which means I do too many things. And herbs is one of those things. Crafting. Yeah. Art, energy healing, group classes, other things like that I also do. So, if you're joining, there's a link for the newsletter, there's a link for the shop in the comments. Let me know if you can't see that or if you need the link for the shop. I have a link for all the things as I talk about them. Let's see if I can add those from my phone. Cool. Okay. Look, it's me. Oh, cool. So there's two of you here. I don't know. I can't really tell. It doesn't show me who's here, which is annoying. So if you're here, comment so I know. So, okay, thanks for joining. I put, again, a link to the shop and a link to join the newsletter so you can get a discount code for the whole weekend. So since you joined today, there's a discount code. If you put it in on any product in the Apothecary, it's 10% off until tomorrow. So the first 10 people to use this code in the Apothecary will get 10% off. And the code is Friday Fun, and that's all lowercase. So if you're going to shop, if you're going to get anything here, put that code in today, and you'll get 10% off until tomorrow. If you go, oh, I want to go buy stuff, but I'm not ready, I need a minute, join the newsletter and you'll get 24 more hours with 10% off. So there's another code for people in the newsletter. So if you join the newsletter, you'll get a little more time to take 10% off of everything in the shop. All right, so join the newsletter, go to the shop. The link is right there in the comments. So if you want to kind of follow along with me, go to the shop and we'll see the products there and here. Okay, so let's talk about plants, relationship with plants. These are not just objects. Plants are not just objects. Obviously, you know that they are living things. Now, when we take them, they're not living things anymore, but we craft them into something else. We give them a new life. And so it's a partnership between the plants and yourself. And so if you are out in nature and you want to take a pretty rock home, which happens, right, all the time. I'm sure if you're tuning in, you've been that person. Or a pretty flower or whatever. You know, they say take only pictures. That's a nice motto. But if you are feeling called by something, like truly called, not just, oh, it's really pretty, I like it, but actually called by something. And you know, because there's kind of a internal hit and you're like, oh, wow. Or you really see something that, you know, you weren't really seeing anything specific on your walk in the woods or something. And then suddenly you look over and you just like this thing, it's like tunnel vision or it just sparkles. That's usually when the object is calling you. And so, yeah, we can go ahead and take it or whatever, like in a good way, but it's nice to offer something. And I have always have a lot of hair, so I'll offer a little strand of hair. If you don't have anything, if you don't even have hair, that's fine. You can just give a little kiss, blow your gratitude for that thing into the earth, or you can even use some leaves, a couple, 3 leaves, and give a little kiss and lay those leaves down as an offering. So tobacco was one of the things that I was taught to offer. I like to use lavender personally as a substitute for tobacco. We do grow our own tobacco too, to pray with and to utilize like that. But one of my teachers also kind of said, later, just be mindful about how much tobacco you're putting down, because even a big chunk of tobacco can alter, an ecosystem. So just do it with some practicality in mind. Just kind of like, okay, assessing what's what's healthy for the situation, for that moment. Just give a little gratitude in a way that feels right to you, that isn't going to be too disturbing to the system and the environment. So anyway, all of these things, more or less, we grew in our garden. So we have a dedicated plot here in the city, a couple blocks over, for herbs. And of course, another way to be in relationship with plants. Don't mind my neighbor. It's going to be like that for a minute. Being with that land, being with that space. So if you're putting in a garden, you can, yes, just dig up the soil and make it nice and everything. Putting your love into it like that is great. If you want to go a little further, maybe digging a hole in the center or a place that feels appropriate for you to put down, a little bit of flowers, just kind of decorate it in a way that feels simple and good, is a nice way to consecrate a garden. Of course, we're past that point. It's August, but so on the other side of things, we're starting to harvest, right? So just saying thank you, just having that mindset of gratitude is a nice way to go about it. So let's talk about some products, and then we'll come back around to relationship and herbal allies. I'm going to talk about mugwort. I have a whole bundle of it right here. So I'm going to talk about mugwort here in a little bit. But first I'm going to talk about these items and products that I have. So the herbal honey salt milk bath. This is 2 baths. So you put a cup in your bath, and let's see if I've got, there's a little bag that I give you, not in these jars. I was gonna grab one for this and I forgot. Nope. Okay, so anyway, there's a little linen bag where you can just take a spoon and put the herbs that are on the top in your bag so that you don't clog up your drain. Again, being practical while indulging and enjoying the plants. And the rest of this stuff is going to be fine to put into your bath. It'll dissolve. So this is honey, Epsom salt, milk, and magic. A little bit of almond oil. And then the herbs. So lavender and rose on the top there. Rose petals, right? Who doesn't love milk and rose petal bath? So this came to me, this was my homework last year. I took a course with Emily Ray for yoga for sexual wellness, and doing one of these baths a week or more was our homework at the time for becoming embodied. That's really what that work's about. It's not really about good sex is a nice, benefit, but that's not really the point of that class. So she had her in-person class, and that was one of our homeworks. Another one was a detox bath, a clay bath, and I made that too, but I don't have it right now for sale. So this is the herbal honey milk bath. It's very luscious. It feels really nice on your skin. It's really silky and smooth and nourishing. And when I get out of the bath, I dumped a whole thing of these in there once, and on accident, because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I didn't read the directions. It's just a cup. So this is 2 baths, 2 cups, and that's plenty. But when I did that whole thing, I was like, I was humming. It was really nice and really, really silky. So there's that honey milk bath, and those are, I think, 15, and there's just these 3 there. Shipping is available or pickups. You can pick up here, and I put things out in the side by the mailbox so that it's a contactless pickup. So, honey milk bath down. Go check it out. Take 10% off. Use the code FridayFun, all one word, lowercase. Let's see if I can get you the link. Okay. Herbal, honey, salt, milk, bath, link. Right here. Oh, hey, Carrie. Thanks for joining. Thank you for saying something. It's so weird. I'm telling you, there's just like a lot going on the back end here. There's a lot of like setup streams, stream health, video clipping, polls, questions, feature link, help. Like I have no idea what any of these things are for, and I really don't have the time to figure that out. I missed the old live way. But anyway, let's move on. Next thing. Smudge bundles. One of my favorites. Alright, let's see, who do we start with? So, we'll start with the original. So, this is cedar and sweetgrass and apple sticks in there. Cedar, sweetgrass, apple. In the past, I've put rosemary in it, and that's nice. I ran out of rosemary. We have some growing this year. So you can set that up. So I said this in the last video, just a little preview. The cedar's a little old, which is a good thing. When it's dry and it's not quite as fresh, it burns better. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. The sweetgrass is going to be just a really nice smell to integrate with this. So you'll burn this and just move it through the house, and if you have like a feather fan or you want to choose your hand, you can just kind of wave that smoke through the house. And I recommend going clockwise, and if you are wanting to smudge yourself, you just burn this and just bring that smoke into your body, like into your field. You know, we have a bubble of energy all around us, and we just bring that smoke in from the bottom up, because that is the direction that smoke goes, right? So we're bringing it in to bless ourselves and to clear. So if you're using the smudge bundle, that's how you're using it for your home or your body. Cedar, apple, sweetgrass, smudge bundle. So that's cedar, apple. I think that's how it's listed. And then we've got the sweetgrass from the garden, homegrown. I gotta trim this one up a little bit. So you'll burn the end, start lighting it here, and you just get that going. And when you walk through the house, you're just gonna make it move as you go, either back and forth or make a circle, and it'll burn as you move around and give that good smell to your house. So sweetgrass is nice for blessing a home. You can use it to bless your own energy, so you can just kind of pass it around yourself while it's lit. Of course, it's in here as well. The cedar is a little more heavy duty lifting. So if you're feeling grief or you're feeling sad or heavier feelings, burn some cedar. You can use sweetgrass, but the cedar's kind of like heavy duty cleanser. Like you're gonna use bleach versus just vinegar and water, depending on what you've got going on. Like if something's super funky, you know, use the cedar. If it's like, okay, I mean business. But if you're feeling like, I'm okay, you know, things are cool, I got a little whatever going on, use the sweetgrass. So you can use this in your home, again, for blessing, or you can use it with your energy field and just kind of pass it all around you. And this is like, let's see, we got 5 here. These are available for shipping as well. This is like, I don't know, 10% of what I actually have. I just have to get to braiding. I'm just getting started. And then we have mugwort. So I've got 2 versions of mugwort. This one, the top one is the flower, the bottom one is the leaf. I only have, I think, 2 of the flower ones. they came from last year. We kind of just let the plant do what it wanted to do. We just wanted to see how it would go. And then I've got a big old bundle of mugwort right here that I'm going to talk about at the end. I'm going to talk about the uses of mugwort and what it's good for and all that. So the flower, and then the leaf. Hopefully you can see. And this burns really, really well. And it will smoke up pretty fast. So you might not need much. Okay? So those are the smudge bundles I have available, except I don't have the flower one listed anymore. If you do want it, just write me. But the leaf is great. You don't need the flower one. It's all right. But we just didn't want to let the plant go to seed this year. So that's what we did last year. Just checked it out, saw how it went. All right. Smudge bundles, and then wart salt. We'll talk about that next. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Okay. I'll just go ahead and put all those in there. Okay, smudge bundles. Alright, in the chat, cool. And then the next thing is the wart salt, also in the chat. So, wart salt. It's a teeny tiny little adorable bottle. Right? So ward means to basically lay down the shade for protection, to ward off, right? To repel. I probably should have looked at that word and what the actual definition is, but you know what I mean. Warding, stay away. So you're protecting your home with this, your front door, number one. That's where you would put this. So you can just take it and draw it left to right at the doorstep. If you want to really work with it, you'll pour it out into your hands, pinch it, and pour that line. So you're really like crumbling the stuff up in your hands and activating the volatile oils of the plant that's in here. It's already in the salt, so you don't need to worry about that too much. But when I work with herbs, I just really like to, grind it up in my hands if I'm going to be doing something like that. We'll use cornmeal sometimes or tobacco for that, just to draw the line for the ceremony, for the protection of the space if we're going to do a ceremony. So you certainly use that for that. It's good to put at your windows and your back door as well. And I would do this every season at least. So at least the front door 4 times a year. That's minimum. And then, you can make your own, certainly. This is $5 if you do want one that I made. And here's the mother. That's the mother. So I'm not talking about what herb it is. It is an herb for protection against negativity. But it is a personal herb for me. So if you were going to make something, I would recommend that you work with an herb that you feel connected to. One that you feel that you want to work with. I'm not going to give you like a template of, okay, this is the herb that you do, because this is the herb that works for me. And I know that it's a general protection herb, so I know that it will work for others as well. Okay, so wart salt. Next up, the herbal smoke blend. Alright. So that comes in this cute little screw top, 2-ounce tin, travel tin. So you can have it on the go. Put it in your purse and go. Not that we're going too many places these days. But so this is intended as an herbal smoke, but you can use it in many other ways. It doesn't have to be for smoking. If you're not comfortable smoking, you don't want to smoke, that's fine. You can put it on a charcoal tablet and just breathe in the smoke, and that's actually going to be good for your lungs. There's mullein in here, there's peppermint, lemon balm, and rose. So if you just put it on a charcoal tablet and let the smoke lift and bring it in, actually breathe it in. You don't want to get too close necessarily, but bring that smoke in and breathe it. The mullein is actually really good for your lungs. So if you're having bronchial issues, it will help. It should help. If you're having lung problems or sinus issues. You can also steam this. So if you're feeling like You've got a dry thing going on, I would steam it. If you feel like you've got a wet thing going on, I would smoke it, or I would put it on a charcoal and use the smoke. You can also drink it and use it as a tea. So it'll be a tisane, which is an herbal tea, because there's no actual tea in here. Tea is, a whole other thing from Asia that we don't grow. These are just herbs. So there's no caffeine in this. So smoke, charcoal smudge, a steam, or tea. So that's there. I think these are $7, 2 ounces. I will ship them, or you can pick them up. And they're also in the witch kit, which I'll talk about here in a sec. So here's the mother for that too. That's all the herbs that I use. So mullein is great for lung health. And if you haven't met mullein, it's probably somewhere near you. It grows pretty prolifically. It is invasive to this area, but it's a 2-year plant, so in the 2nd year it shoots up a stalk and then it dies. So it's kind of like not too bad. It doesn't usually take over an area too bad, but it can grow really easily. It does grow really easily here. There's lots up in Davoo, in the park right up the hill here. We've got a couple in our garden specifically for this reason. So I harvest from the garden. We grow these plants, ourselves. So they're safe like that. Okay, so herbal smoke blend. And then next is spring ephemerals. So let me put the link in for that. Okay, herbal smoke blend. There's the link. Again, 10% off. Friday fun, all one word. 10% off until tomorrow on all these things. Shipping for most of them. For the kits, I'm not going to ship those right now. So next up is the spring ephemeral bundle. I just put that link in there. That is $35. I have 3 available right now. So flower essences is what that is all about, essentially. Essentially, let me see what the bottle is. So, all right, here's the Mojo bottle. Over here, flowers that I use to make all of the spring ephemeral flower essences. So flower essences work on a vibrational and emotional level. So it's not a physical medicinal kind of thing, but it's more can help you kind of nudge your emotional state in a direction. Or sometimes it can work like, a hammer, if that's what you're after, depending on what you got going on. But I've got these little itty bitty teeny tiny bottles, and you're going to get 5 of these bottles, and you're going to pick out of the list of all the spring ephemerals that I have, the 5 that you want to try. These itty bitty teeny tiny little bottles, and they do have the essential oil dropper thingies in there, so you can just add 1, 2, 3 drops. That's really all you need. And a glass of water, or in a shot glass like that. So you can take it that way, and think about that plant. Think about that flower when you're with it, when you're taking it into your body, and visualizing it, being with it, really sensing like, what does it have for me? What does it have to help me with what I need, right? And you don't have to know. That's the thing. It's a feeling. It's an intuition. It's a gut feeling. It's a heart feeling that travels up the body into the mind. So it's not like, oh, I know what I need. You might know what you need, but check in with your other senses too, because we have all these tools in our body to understand, to listen, to gain inner wisdom and knowledge about ourselves and what we need. So listen, not just to your monkey mind, right? So when we talk about like vibrational, emotional stuff, it can sound woo-woo. I know that. But I don't feel that way about it personally. It's just a matter of I'm working with this plant right now, and I'm learning about what this plant has to show me about myself. I mean, everything that we're doing here, the plants are beautiful allies to help us understand who we are and who we want to be and what needs to shift and change, right? I mean, that's really the point of doing all this work, and just being in beauty and joy. Isn't that fun? So there's my second spiel. All right. Next up, let's see. I'm going to talk about the witch kit in a moment. Before that, I'm actually going to talk about the tinctures and the flower essences. So there's a list of all the flower essences on the website. So I'm not going to read them all to you, but things like Spring Beauty, Trout Lily, Lilac, Pink Magnolia, White Magnolia. I did do a red maple flower. That was fun. Way back, right before the ephemerals, like back in February when the buds just started hopping a little bit. I think what else? Pear, plum. Yeah, so there's some tree essences in there. Quince is a really lovely one, right down the street, right? So the flowers infuse the water. And then we add a little bit of brandy to the water. There's not a ton in there. If you're worried about alcohol, so we'll talk about this with the tincture and the essences. If you're worried about consuming alcohol, there's a tiny bit of alcohol in it, but like if you ate a fermented banana, as my friend in Oregon would say, she talks, I learn herbs from her a lot. If you ate an old banana, that's about as much alcohol as is in these tinctures and things like that. But if you don't want to consume alcohol at all, I understand. You can do a glycerin version. I don't have any of those. I don't do that right now. That's one thing, but that's more of a food than a tincture. So it works a little bit differently, but that is kind of a version of a non-alcoholic tincture. But what you can do with these guys, right, the actual tinctures or the essences, you will take the dropper, put it in your drink. Let me back up. Heat the water. Boil the water. So you're going to have a cup of tea, or you're going to have a little bit of water, and then you're going to put the stuff in it and let it sit for about a half an hour. And then all the alcohol will just burn off because of the hot water. It'll steam off. And then you can take the medicinal properties that'll still be in the water. Okay? So flower essences come in half-ounce bottles because you really just don't need much to work with it, like 1, 2, 3 drops, maybe up to 4 times a day, maybe, if you were feeling like, okay, I really need this right now to help fortify myself, to help the shift, for like 3 to 5 days. But in general, if you're taking it just to cultivate a relationship with it, maybe 3 drops a day in the morning, maybe 3 drops at night. Like, it's up to you, how much you want to work with it. But if you're just thinking about it once a day, that's going to be good. So flower essences, and then the tinctures come in 1-ounce bottles. So when you take a tincture, you want to shake it. You always want to shake it to get all the properties all the way through. Open it up, take a dropper full, and that dropper is only going to fill up probably about halfway. And that's fine. You don't need it to fill up the whole way. So wherever it goes, about halfway, that's 1 dropper full. So again, depending on what you're taking and what you're working with and why you're taking it, you might take it every hour if you've got something like you're really trying to stave off, or you're really trying to fight through, or you might take it once a day if there's just kind of a general health thing that you're working on. So it depends on if it's an acute issue or if it's like a general overall sense of well-being, and if you're like focusing on the liver, or you're focusing on digestion, or you're focusing on skin health. It just depends. So it's a case-by-case basis. So I brought out a couple of my pour bottles. They're not pour like sad, but like pouring, like pouring bottles. So this is the mother, and put it into the little baby when you order. Some mullein. So mullein tincture. This is the mullein leaf that I have tinctured. St. John's wort is one. So there's a whole list. There's probably like 12, I think, on the website. And the properties, the reasons you want to use them for. So St. John's wort, for example, just a little plant profile. I take St. John's wort a lot. It's one of my main allies, but I'm not on any medication that I'm worried that it's going to cause my liver to detox from too fast. That's really the issue with St. John's wort and pharmaceuticals. So if you're taking something pharmaceutically that you need to take, that's fine, but don't take this too. It'll cause your liver to work so well that the medicine will get kicked out of your body. So you don't want that, right? That's why St. John's wort is contraindicated with pharmaceuticals. But St. John's wort, because it works so well with the liver, can help boost your mood. And that's really when we're not feeling great and we're eating crap or we're not sleeping well or whatever like that. If we can support our liver, we'll feel a whole lot better. So that's one way to do it. There's tons of ways to do it, eating really well, not eating crap. But especially with women, when you're, where I'm at right now, PMS, noontime, you're going to want to eat greasy food or cheese or ice cream or whatever, because you're just like, ugh, whatever, I don't care. But St. John's wort is going to help you if you take it ahead of time and say, I don't want to feel that way. So then you keep your liver in a good state and you continue to focus on eating well. Then you're probably going to be a little more level and balanced and you won't have those cravings. But if you're like, okay, sideways, I'm eating burgers and ice cream or whatever and chips and I just don't care. But you want to do a little something for yourself. Take a couple dropperfuls of St. John's wort a couple times a day and then start to think about, okay, maybe I should just try to eat, one salad a day. Just something a little better. It can help boost your mood is really the point, right? So, St. John's wort, yarrow, tincture. This is the flower and leaf. I have a whole bunch of yarrow, but it's up front. So, anyway, there's about, like I said, 12 different tinctures in the shop. The 10% discount works for those too. You can pick them up or they can be shipped. 10% discount code is Friday Fun, all lowercase, all one word. So go buy something or not, go shop, and if you're like, tomorrow, the next day, you're like, oh man, I really wanted to get that thing, go join my newsletter and you'll get a code that will extend that 10% off. Okay, so tinctures. So tinctures are a hybrid between food and medicine. I wouldn't, technically can't call it medicine. I'm not a doctor, that kind of thing, right? But you take it generally with acute issues, generally. Overall mood boost, or with yarrow, like noontime and helping to move things along, or if your flow is too heavy. So yarrow will work both ways. It will either kickstart things, get things moving, or it'll calm things down. That's one of the really cool things about yarrow, especially with women and the moon, that kind of thing. So, yeah, we should do a whole video on tinctures and just kind of talk about, break it down. So there's just a little overview. Come in the 1 ounce bottles. Flower essences come in the 1/2 ounce. Flower essences are vibrational. All the links are in the chat, and we're going to talk about one more thing, the witch kit. And then I'm going to talk about mugwort. So we'll get back to the mugwort because the witch kit's going to be a great segue to talk about that. Okay. Witch kit. Let me put the link in. Okay, so there's no shipping on this one. There's only 3 available because they are very customized and a lot of work. a lot of joyful work. I really enjoyed making them, so I really want you to enjoy having them. So 3 there. Assemble it a little bit, make some space. Okay. Oh, let me talk about these real quick. These are fire starters. And as of right now, they are not listed on the site, but they come, this is St. John's wort, that red plant. It turns red. It's got there's a whole property with it where it turns red, the flower turns red, the plant turns red, and it's part of the Hypericum medicinal property. So you would just stick this in your fire under the logs and light this end, light the cedar. So a lot of them have cedar in them to, uplift your spirits for these beautiful roses. And I'm pretty excited for this last bouquet that I just had. These are going to be really beautiful fire starters. So the fire starters come in all the kits. So the mugwort bundle, the yarrow bundle, the witch kit, and any other kits that I make. I'll be making, I think, a Samhain bundle for Halloween. I did last year, and I think the year before. That was really fun. I'm going to be working with hawthorn prayer beads. I love doing those. So we've got these candles. So the candle and the Mojo bottle are what differentiate the kits. So it's just a matter of, do you like the red one? Do you like the rose one? Do you like the white flower one? Are you feeling called to the white flower one over the red one? That kind of thing. Everything else in the kit is going to be pretty much the same through each of the kits. There's going to be a little variation in the glass bead on pendulum. Pendulum is really cool. I'm so excited about this. I've had these in my space for quite a while, and I'm just really excited for them to go out in the world. They're really cool. They're filled with 4 different kinds of crystals that we got from our friends over across the street at Hale. So it's glass filled with quartz, rose quartz, black tourmaline, and green fluorite. So that was just like at the bottom of the bin of crystals that he had. So I'm not big into buying crystals unless they are secondhand. I like to rescue crystals. I don't like to buy new crystals because I don't know where they come from, and it doesn't seem like a really good way, to like have a relationship with the earth by like taking parts of the earth and not really knowing where they're from or how they were harvested or, why they were there originally. Like, it's a whole thing. So, a whole other video. So anyway, there's a little bit of crystals in here, and only because they were at the bottom of the bin, and the guy was like, here you go, just take these. I was going to use them in art, so they ended up in the pendulum. And I have a video on YouTube to show you how to use a pendulum and how to do energy work for yourself. It's like 12 minutes, so if you're not sure what to do with this, I will send you the link, or go to my YouTube, The Flying Cat, and you'll find it, how to use a pendulum. So there's a pendulum, there's the word salt, which we already talked about, and then there's the herbal smoke, 2 ounce, same amount, same stuff, rose, peppermint, lemon balm, and mullein for smoking or steaming or smudging. And then the mugwort smudge bundle. I want you to be able to see these items. Yeah, mugwort smudge bundle, pendulum, word salt, and the smoke blend. And then a little baby anointing oil for your third eye, if that's where you choose to put it. just a little anointing oil for your chakras. And this is mugwort oil. So I did a whole 2-ounce bottle of mugwort oil in the mugwort kits. And I think there's one of those left. So this is just a little tiny bit of that to use. Mugwort's great to use for dream work, ritual work. So there's the segue into mugwort, right? Because there's a bunch of mugwort items in here. So, and then you get the mojo bottle. So the mojo bottles, what's that? This is the remnants of all the things. So there's some hawthorn berries in there. There's the feather, obviously there's the flower, same flower, right? There's some cedar. It's mojo. It's mojo from my space. It's just all this stuff that just kind of collects on the table while I'm making these things. So I thought, well, of course I can't throw anything away. I could burn it, but I just put it in a big glass jar. And I thought, I have these things. I had these little charms in my space for a really long time, and they're just kind of fun, and I just want to get them out in the world. So I just thought, we'll decorate these bottles. They'll be mojo bottles. So you can display them, you can disassemble them, you can take what's inside of it and offer it to a fire. So you got your fire starter. Oh yes, that's the part I forgot. It also comes in this bundle, right? So you can make like a little mandala, go to the woods and put the stuff out and just kind of arrange it and make something beautiful. Or just put it on your altar, and there's some good mojo. So you know where it came from and you know why it exists. It's just little bits and pieces of all the little plant allies that I've worked with over the last like 2 years. So that's what's in that bottle. I think that's it. I'm looking at the description. I just want to make sure I get everything. Smudge bundle, mojo bottle. I didn't get everything. See, mugwort tincture. So that's going to be included as well. That's a 1/2 ounce bottle. So tinctures generally are a whole ounce that I sell as individuals, but in the kit, it's going to be a 1/2 ounce, and that's going to be a nice way for you to try it. So mugwort tincture, mugwort oil, mugwort smudge bundle. We'll talk about mugwort here in just a sec. Pendulum, yeah, and that's it. So if you really want me to ship this to you, write me, but generally, if you buy it, I'll get it ready for pickup. If you really want me to deliver it to you, if you're in the area, I will do that too. Just write me, okay? So there's just 3. They're $75, Friday Fun, all lowercase, one word, 10% off today. Go get it. Go get it. All right. I think that's everything-ish. So I'm going to make the Samhain bundle. I usually make a winter solstice bundle for gift giving, and because, you know, we all want one ourselves anyway, right? So that's the plan. I'm going to talk about mugwort next. So just a couple more minutes, 10 more minutes we've got, and I think I can fill up that time. Alright, let me just make a little space. Isn't this fun? Don't you want to play with all these things? Little tin, fire starter, oil, mojo bottle. Okay, so mugwort oil, so cute. Pendulum, really cool. I'm a fan. I love them. All right, mugwort. Artemisia. Ta-da! So take a good look at it. Take a good look. Get in there. So it's got these curly, green but silvery colored leaves. And then here up at the top, it was just starting to put out flowers. Yeah, like this this little spot where it started to get a little pokey at the end here. I don't know if you can see that. So that soon it would look like that. And those are the flowers. Really interesting flowers. This is a highly, highly invasive plant. So we make sure that we cut the roots because the roots will just go bonkers. And then you see all these flowers. Every single little bump here is a flower that has a teeny tiny itty bitty little seed. There's like hundreds of seeds. So that's why I'm not doing flowers. Not doing a flower smudge bundle anymore, because I don't want those seeds to go out in the world like that. But the mugwort itself, see how it's falling off too as I touch it? That's cool. That's a good thing. So you can gather up all this stuff, and I learned this from a friend on Facebook, an herbal friend in New York. A lot of herbal people that I really enjoy following and learning from. So you just take a little handful like that and roll it up, and it will eventually all kind of stick together and make a little ball. A little bit more. It'll get kind of soft and it kind of sheds a little bit. And then you take that little ball and you put it in a fire-safe container, and you can just light that and it'll burn. It'll just burn. Oh yeah, you can see little itty bitty tiny little dot there. That's mugwort. So all the little remnants can become just like a little incense ball. And I play around with what I like to do lately is put a little bit of resin in that ball, and that's what I'll burn on my altar. I've been collecting tree resin from the area for a couple years. So on the evergreens where the resin falls down, you don't want to collect from the wound, but where it's running down and it's kind of balled up, that's the bit you can harvest safely. And don't try not, I mean, it's sticky. If you touch it, it won't unstick. You have to use mineral spirits to get it off, but put it in a little container, save it for later, and then when you have your mugwort bundle, and you make your little mugwort ball, and you get that little bit of resin and just put it in the middle of that ball, it'll all burn together. So you don't need to put this little ball on a charcoal. That's what I really like about it, but definitely obviously put it in something that you can actually burn stuff on safely, right? But it'll burn. It'll just continuously burn. So that's why, you know, with the mugwort bundle, smudge bundle, a little bit goes a long way. It'll burn really fast. It'll smoke up pretty quick. So, mugwort. Okay, so the profile, right? You see these curly, kind of silvery leaves. When you see the backs of a plant's leaf is kind of silvery, that's kind of an indication that it's a good women's herb. So like sage, raspberry leaf, blackberry leaf, mugwort. Mugwort, when made into oil, is great for cramp relief because it has such a high magnesium content. So it's also really good if you were to buy a smudge bundle, you could just cut off the tip and drink it. So you can make a tea out of it. So if you're like about to start your moon, have a cup of mugwort tea every day, get a little bit of magnesium. If you have cramps in your legs or your body, rub the oil on, so topically, or you can take it as a tea. You can take it as a tincture. The tincture is going to work a little differently, so that's in the witch kit. It's not going to give you the nutritional value of magnesium because it has been extracted in alcohol and water. So it's not, when we take it as a tea and we put it on our body, it's like a food, like it's a whole plant, right? when it's in the tincture, it's a whole plant, but then we strain it, and the alcohol properties are different than the nutritional properties. I'm still learning about the alcohol properties myself, and I take the mugwort tincture when I want to do dream work. So mugwort is notoriously known as a women's herb and as a dream work herb. And specifically, if you're like into lucid dreams, like that's a thing that I've been into for a long time, but I haven't met a lot of people that are. And I don't, right now with the state of things in the world, I don't know that I need to do lucid dreaming. There's enough going on right now. But if I were, I did a year of dream work last year, and I started working with mugwort a little bit. And I wasn't trying to do lucid dreaming, but I was just working with it to see how it would feel and what it might do. So I would smudge myself just a tiny bit at bed, before bed, and or have a little cup of tea before bed, just a little tiny bit. And my dreams were intense. They weren't negative, but they were hyper vivid. I wasn't lucid, that's not what I was going for, but they were hyper vivid, which, if you're doing dream work, can be helpful because it helps you remember your dreams, first of all, which is one of the things that a lot of us struggle with, is just remembering our dreams at all. And then really, when you're doing dream work, this is a whole other segue, but you're working with your dreams to see yourself. Again, all of this is just to learn about yourself, right? Who you are, who you want to be. So you're getting to see the contents of your subconscious and your emotional states. So if you're in the dream and you're encountering something and it's upsetting or it's exciting or it's got a certain feeling to it that's really notable, that's what you want to pay attention to. So mugwort will definitely bring your dreams forward if that's something that you want to work with. I also smudge with mugwort for different reasons, So if I smudge with it for a different reason, then it doesn't affect my dreams. It's all about intention when you're connecting with plants and whatever you're doing and why ever you're doing it, right? So my intention to work with St. John's wort is to support my liver while I'm transitioning in my cycle. Then I'm going to work with that plant and ask it to affect my body in that way. And hopefully that relationship works like that. You kind of have to take a little bit at a time and just see how it goes and work with things over a period of time. So that said, what you don't want to do is take the same herb for like 4 weeks or 6 months, unless you really know that you should do that. Generally, when we work with a particular herb, it's just for a couple of days. Like if you're taking it internally, if you're doing an infusion or you're working with a tincture, that kind of thing. If you're working with the oil and you're doing it topically, I would feel okay about using the mugwort oil like every night to rub my legs and my belly or whatever. I would feel okay about that. But if I was taking the mugwort tincture every single night or a couple times a day for months, that would be a little too much for me. So you have to determine, why do you want to take these things? And so I know when you're just starting, you're like, I don't know. I don't know. So the best thing you can do is just get curious, pay attention, be careful. Of course, if you're identifying plants out in the wild or you're trying to have that relationship with them, know what you're working with before you take it internally. Get at least 3 sources of identification for sure. You're 100% sure that's what it is, okay? So I'm not advising you on that, but I'm just saying, that's what everybody says. That's what we need to say. Like, yes, we need to do that. We need to make sure that we know who we're working with. But if you're working with, like, rose, we all know what roses are. We all know these are roses. And, most of the time, roses are edible. You don't want to eat roses that come from the store because they've got chemicals on them or in them, or they were grown with chemicals probably. But if you are growing roses in your own garden, or you find wild roses somewhere that is okay to harvest, and there's been no chemical spray, and it's all pretty safe. Roses, rose hip, that kind of thing. Like things that are just kind of no nonsense, you know what they are. So anyway, that's my third rant, I think, on herbs. So thank you for joining me today. Again, today's code will get you 10% off on all the things in the Apothecary Friday Fun, all lowercase, one word. That amount ends tomorrow. If you need to extend the code, if you need to extend the 10% off, join the newsletter, and you will get another code for another 24 hours. And I hope to see you somewhere. Please write me with questions. You can write me info@theflyingcat.net in my email. You can write me on Facebook directly. If you write the Flying Cat directly, it might take a couple days for me to see it, unfortunately. That's just kind of the nature of the beast with that one for some reason. But if you write me directly, I will see it right away. Julia Martin. You can also write me on Instagram, theflyingcat.net or Julia Cat Martin. And most of these items, the little items, are available for shipping. The kits are not available for shipping on the website, but if you write me, let me know. We can talk, figure it out. If you need these things to be delivered to you and you're in the area, again, write me, let me know, we'll figure it out. Okay, thank you so much for joining, and I will talk to you soon. I would love to talk to you more about herbs and plants and relationship and earth medicine. It's my great love. Thank you so much. See you next time. All right. Oh.